Hey everyone, it's Jensen, and I hope that everybody's having a great day. I have a question. What's the question? Is it productive to refuel your social battery when your mental and physical battery has been drained? Let's talk about that. A quick disclaimer, I am not a professional of any kind. I'm not a psychologist, I don't give professional advice, so all of this is just my opinion and my perspective. So I would love to hear yours too, but take everything with what I said with a grain of salt because, yes, I'm not a professional. So I stumbled upon this topic pretty recently when I found that some of my friends or some of the people that I know, they would tend to go out super late towards the day, and they'll at that stage they would be super exhausted physically for not having enough sleep and also having a mental breakdown at the same time. And so this happened quite often enough for me to think, is it productive for them to stay out and, let's say, release their emotional luggage with their friends around them in replacement of sleep? And this is all the question that I was thinking of when they would turn up the next day and they feel like I'm physically exhausted, I didn't get enough sleep, and I was wondering, why do they do that? Why is it that we sacrifice physical, or it's easier for us to sacrifice our physical health for our mental health? Like mental health itself has been a huge topic recently, and I feel like it's something that we should talk about. So I don't participate in this activity too often. I do find myself in situations where I am the one that's getting the emotional luggage dumped on, and I'm totally fine with that. I think it's very, very important for us to release our emotional baggage once in a while and have somebody there to care for us and to just be there for us to listen. But at some point, I do question what is the most effective way that we can go about helping these kinds of people. I do feel there's a nuance to this question, which is recharging your mental and social battery enough to compensate for physical and mental exhaustion? So I'm just reading notes here. That question in itself is very complicated, and I do feel it's situational, but highly dependent on the person too. It's based on their beliefs and what does make them feel better, whether it is physical rest or is it mental, like a mental dump. I think it's very much dependent on the person. I know a few people that really do prioritize their mental health, where they put it on the forefront of everything, and that's 100% understandable. But I think the trouble comes when you don't prioritize your physical health at all, and only prioritize your mental health. I don't think that's the most effective way of going about it, because at the end of the day, you can feel wonderful in your head, but if your body doesn't feel the same way, it's hard for you to find that balance. And I think a balance between the two is very, very important. And I think people do neglect one or the other, but having both work together synchronously is a very hard thing to do, but it's also the most effective thing to do. So for me, the approach that I used to take, or I am taking with myself, would be to always recharge or to always prioritize my physical health before my mental health. Not to say that there's a huge gap between the two, because both are very, very important. You can't have one without the other. And so the way I think of it is that every time I were to have a bottled up emotions from happenstance that I don't release it to the people around me, I find it most effective when I have a really good night's sleep, and so my mental health actually recovers just a bit. I do believe that in the long term, it will be better to prioritize your physical health, provided that you do not neglect your mental health, and to always have somebody around you that you really do trust and really do care to be there for you when you really, really need them, and for you to be there for them when they really, really need you. Let me give you a situation. So when someone is undergoing a heavy load at work, for example, so a high stress, think of an accountant, for example, working 8 a.m. to 1 a.m. in the morning, super stressed, no time for themselves. I think when a situation comes when they're about to boil over, the first steps I would personally take is to get as much physical rest as possible during the night, and then dedicate some time to talking to your fellow mates to help them empathize with you about your current situation, because it is very, very tough. I don't think enough people out there are getting enough rest, but I do feel like physical rest should be prioritized first and tends to work out better for me. Again, this is my perspective. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. So do leave it down in the comments below and we can have a cool discussion about it. Maybe I'll make a Q&A after this video if we get enough responses. So thank you so much for watching. This has been pretty interesting experience making my first YouTube video, and I have a few pretty interesting topics lined up for the next few videos, so stick around, subscribe if you want. And yeah, I guess I want to leave you guys off with this one question. What do you guys do in a situation like this? Do you prioritize your physical health or mental health first? I'd love to hear it. Till next time.